Right, okay, fan reaction time then. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Burnley 5. 5 goals for boring Burnley. And I will just start this video with a brilliant little stat that kind of puts the boring Burnley nonsense, and I've always called it a lazy narrative, to shame. There are now only 2 sides in this division that have scored more goals than us. We've scored more goals than Sheffield United, Sunderland, Bristol City, Coventry, Millwall, obviously Blackburn because they're awful, Middlesbrough, West Brom, Swansea, Sheff Wednesday, Watford, QPR, Portsmouth, Oxford, Stoke, Derby, Preston, Luton, Hull, Plymouth and Cardiff. Only Leeds United, who have been a very, 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 very good team going forwards this season, and Norwich City, who've also been good going forwards this season, but have been pretty awful at the back, have scored more goals than this boring Burnley side that everybody loves to call us. But we were absolutely superb today, weren't we? We were really, really, really good. But before I get into it, just want to remind you all to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go and hit the like buttons on the other fan reactions as well. We smashed the record in the last video. Not the last video, it was the Watford one. I forgot to ask you all to like it in the last video because I was just buzzing with the promotion. But in that Watford video, I said, right, we need to beat 330, everybody. We got to 469. I don't think that record will be broken, to be fair, but that's your target for this video. Make sure you like the video. And if you've already liked it, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. And if you've done both, excellent. Thank you very much. But let's get into it. Burnley, I know I've kind of cracked this joke already on the 60-second review, but I'm going to do it again. It was genuinely like watching 1970s Brazil. It really was. We were superb. We were fantastic. That first half especially, I mean, we weren't poor in the second half. We were still very good in the second half. But that first half, we were superb. We were passing it around. We were moving it. We were fluid. We were excellent. That midfield three, I really feel like it's starting to work over the last sort of like 6 to 8 weeks. Obviously, Josh Loren's been in there as well. And by the way, just to avoid any confusion, the midfield three I'm talking about is obviously Cullen, Brownhill and Hannibal. It kind of felt when Brownhill and Hannibal were on the same pitch, even though they're both superb, they just didn't really complement each other very well and kind of just like got in each other's way. But today, superb. Joshua Brownhill was absolutely fantastic again today. He really was. And he's been really, really, really good over these last, well, for the entire season, really. But especially these last sort of like 6 to 8 weeks, he has been superb as Josh. He's been, like I said, I've called him clutch a few times today. Didn't score didn't score today, but still managed to get a couple of assists. I love that, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. Betfred tweeted all of Brownhill's stats. And then on it was 1 assist, and he corrected and put 2 assists. Love that. But yeah, he was superb. I think the reason why we were so good in that first half is because of that midfield three dominated the middle of the pitch. The QPR players never got anywhere near us. They were always in acres and acres and acres of space. They were always asking for the ball off each other. They were always helping each other out. We just looked like we wanted it like today. And again, there's no way, shape or form that we shouldn't have ever looked like we didn't want it. But at the same time, if we'd have been a little bit, not disinterested, but maybe just a little bit off the pace because of the celebrations from Monday, and not just that, like in the back of the players' heads, it will be a case of thinking, main job done. Obviously, they've got it in their heads as well that the title is a thing and we need to go and win that. That's certainly how they're playing today, and pressure is obviously on Leeds now if they're bothered. Genuinely, as a Burnley fan, if we win the title, buzzing. I would absolutely love it to be going round Burnley again in that open top bus parade with the old lady at the front of the bus, just like it was the last 2 times. But the job is promotion. But the players today looked like they wanted to win that title. But like I said, it genuinely, like you genuinely as a fan, even like fans like myself who went down there and stuff, spent 3.5, 4 hours in the car going down there. But I remember saying to my dad in the car on the way down, like, oh, they might not really be that bothered about today. They might not really be up for it. And you could have forgiven it. That's the point I'm trying to make. You could have forgiven it if they were just a little bit off the boil today, a little bit on the beach, just not really all there today. But they were superb. They looked like a team still going for something. Obviously we are, but you'd have forgiven them if they were a little bit off the boil. Weren't just them 3 that were fantastic today. Literally every single player on that pitch was superb today, and they have been for quite a few weeks now. James Trafford didn't have much to do. Genuinely could have been sat there on a deck chair for the majority of today's game, but he was called upon to make quite a decent save in that second half, and he did it well, celebrated it like a goal, which I absolutely love. Steve and CJ, fantastic. Do we expect anything less? Of course we don't know. We just know that them two are going to be good. Connor Roberts, as I've always said, he drops 7 out of 10s minimum every week. I think today he was pushing 8 and 9. He was superb. And I want to talk about Corley Orshaw, and I've touched on it on Twitter. Is what I'm trying. I don't know why I can't get my words out. I've touched on it on Twitter. Is what I'm trying to say. But obviously, spent a lot of time on the sidelines recently. Received a lot of criticism from fans. So let's say there's no end product and stuff, and you can argue that is the case. But today he came on. Well, didn't come on. He started, and he was absolutely superb. That second goal, his work down the right-hand side, the second goal was because of his work on the right-hand side. He was superb. There was still some moments where maybe in the second half you could have looked at him and thought, oh, you should be getting that, or that ball was a little bit wayward. But you can forgive that in the second half. Again, I've seen a couple of people sort of like saying, end product's still not good enough. The end product was fine. There was some moments in that second half where the end product was probably a little bit off, but I just feel like he was tired. It looked like he was blowing out of his backside in that second half, to be fair to him, but you can 100% forgive that when he's not played for so long. So I thought he was superb. As I've mentioned, Connor Roberts, Perez again, he's really stepped up recently. It's great to see. Jadon Anthony, Fleming obviously getting 2 goals. Sarmiento coming on and doing a job and getting 2 goals. Probably Sarmiento's best performance in a Burnley shirt. But I think that was our best performance of the season. Genuinely, I think that was our best performance of the season. Some of you could argue that Plymouth away was, Luton away, Cardiff at home. But I think today we just looked superb today. Like, genuinely, we have this tag of being boring. And I know I sit there and I talk about the goals and how I think we've scored the 3rd most goals in the league now. So we're obviously not that boring. We're scoring quite a lot of goals compared to the rest of the league. We're just very good defensively. And I do feel like that's a bit of a lazy narrative to say that we're boring. I understand that we are more cautious. Obviously, today's not a great example of that because we went forward with purpose quite a lot, quite regularly. But obviously the handbrake was off slightly today. The pressure was off. But I feel like over the course of the season, yes, you could argue we've been cautious, but we're on 97 points with 1 game left. So yeah, I do feel like it's a lazy narrative, but I understand that we have been cautious in some games, and some people might be looking at it thinking, well, that's why they're boring, because they're cautious. I disagree. I just think it's a good game plan. It's a good setup. We know that we're going to put the ball in the back of the net if obviously we're not conceding that's a win. So yeah, absolutely superb today. Burnley were fantastic. I know I have said, and I stand by it, I'm not going to lose any sleep if we don't win the title. I'm not sure if that's me getting my excuses in early or dealing myself some copium nice and early, because I do expect Leeds to win their next 2 games. But the main job was promotion. It genuinely was. We've done it. I expected the lads to be not off the boil again, as I've already said, but kind of just sort of like maybe a little bit like laissez-faire, not too bothered if we win, but yes, we'll try and do our best. But they blew QPR away, and I know I've referenced the first half a lot because I do feel like that was the better part of the game from a Burnley perspective. The second half, we weren't exactly poor, were we? We were still the better side. There was a 5-10 minute spell when they made some positive subs at half-time. Who did they bring on? It were Chair and a striker whose name escapes me. And that kind of like shifted the balance of play a little bit. I wouldn't even say they got on top. They just came into the game and had a couple of half chances or a couple of moments where the crowd got up, they got 30, 40 yards up the pitch, but we just dealt with it well. And then after that, we then got back on top. And as I said, Jeremy Sarmiento come on, did very well. Josh Loren come on and did very well. We were superb today. There's literally nothing to complain about today. In fact, if you want me to be super critical, and again, this isn't me complaining, but if you had to be super critical, it could have been 6 or 7, very, very easily, pushing 8. We were superb. I will caveat that by saying QPR looked like they were on the beach. They genuinely looked like they were on the beach. I don't think any single one of their players cared. That's harsh, but you know what I mean? I don't think they were that bothered about the result. They were already on the beach. The fans didn't really seem to care that much. There was no atmosphere from the home end at all. But yeah, Burnley were absolutely superb. We were fantastic. And another thing, before I move on, before I end the video, that moment, we were 3-0 up. I'm sure you've all seen the clip where one of their players is running through on goal. It looks like he's on the camera. It looks like he's 1v1. And I remember watching it at the time thinking, hey, up, it could be in here. Just push him out wide and we'll be fine. And then literally half of the squad just come out of nowhere. And from the camera angle, from the TV, because I've seen it back on Twitter, it just looks like he's 1v1 and literally 5 or 6 players just swarm in. Do you remember when... what record who were on Gillette Soccer Saturday all the time? Jeff Stelling. Do you remember when Jeff Stelling used to be saying, they're defending like beavers? That's what it felt like. That was literally the personification of that. Just all these players coming back out of nowhere, just swarming him out of possession, and obviously brilliant defense. We were 3-0 up at that point in a game that's effectively not a dead rubber, because obviously we're still trying to win the title, but effectively the season's done. We're already promoted. The game's already won, and they're still running back like that. If they do that in the Prem, and they run like they ran today, and they run through brick walls for each other like they have all season, and run through brick walls for the shirt and the badge, that's all we ask. That's all we ask. Last time in the Premier League, we kind of felt that they did, not that they didn't care, but that it was a little bit, oh, whatever, we've got beat again, who's bothered sort of thing. Whereas now you can tell that they're working for each other, they're working hard for each other, they're working for the badge, they're working for the shirt, they're working for us, they're working for the gaffer. Everything about today was fantastic. A good away day as well with my little boy again. He absolutely loved it. I like Loftus Road, it's a good ground. London was sunny as well down there as well. The drive wasn't that bad, no traffic. Everything about today was superb, and that's why we do it. I said the same after the Watford game, but that's why we do it. Like, it's effectively, like, I remember telling people that I was going down today, like, that's dedication, that, mate. 4-hour drive when we've already won, already won promotion. And I'm just thinking, well, this is the best time to do it, because everyone's in a good mood, everyone's happy. There's inflatables there. There was a giant banana, a giant hammer, a giant palm tree and stuff like that. Party atmosphere in the away end. That's probably one of the best away days of the season. We had nothing really other than the title. But you know what I mean? The job's done. So there's no like massive pressure to play for it. Just a good atmosphere, man. Absolutely superb, that. Last away day of the season, which is a worry, because the next away day is going to be in the Premier League. So fingers crossed. We managed to see some wins on the road next season, but obviously we'll still be there regardless. But yeah, absolutely superb today, Burnley. Absolutely fantastic. Nathan said rampant from minute 1. Spot on. We were dominant from minute 1 till minute 90. Superb, Burnley. Superb.